Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wiley. We talking boxing today. We doing a review show, but if we talking boxing, you know we got Byron here with us to come help school us on this thing. Make sure you go to Spectator Sports, subscribe to the page on YouTube, leave comments. We do reply and we do appreciate all the love. Let's talk about the recap of Edgar, the chosen one, going against the one and only Canelo Alvarez. Once again, Canelo comes out with the victory, unanimous decision over Edgar, the chosen one. Canelo goes to 62-2-2. The chosen one goes to 22-1. Byron, I know you had a lot of things about this fight. You didn't like the fight. You said you wasn't watching the fight. What did you think about this fight?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to point out that I did pick Merab to win the bantamweight title at UFC 306, and that happened.
Good call.
On Saturday. That was a great call by me. But in this fight, I really feel like it played how all these exhibitions of Canelo played. There was a knockdown because he fought a fighter who didn't have any type of defensive skills, didn't have a lot of boxing IQ. But we get another unanimous decision, which I really feel is a stain on his part, because if you are this big puncher that you proclaim to be, this dominant, best in boxing title that you attach to yourself, then I don't know how you don't knock a guy like this out. I think his skills are very much so diminished. I think he has to fight these caliber of fighters to look impressive, because I feel like if he fights a Bivol, if he fights a Benavidez, someone who can put a consistent jab on him and is not, overwhelmed by his pressure, I think he puts him in a very interesting situation where he can lose. And right now in his career, I don't think Canelo wants to fight anyone that he can lose to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you picked the knockout, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick anything. I picked that I was gonna watch UFC, and I did, and it was a great show.
No doubt. Adi, you picked the knockout,
right? And
he did get a knock. He did score a knockdown in this fight.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a unanimous decision. What did you think of this fight with Alvarez? This go around?
Well, you know what? I came very close to betting $300 on Canelo Alvarez to win by knockout.
Ooh, good thing you didn't.
I didn't. Last minute, I changed my mind. I was like, nah, let me not do that.
You would have to go work some OT.
You're right. Exactly. Yeah, drive Uber or something. I don't know. Right. But in the third round, Canelo Alvarez threw 27 power punches in the third round, and he caught Berlanga with a left hook, which dropped him to the canvas in the third round. And there was hope that Canelo would continue to bring the heat in the fourth round and finally end his 3-year knockout victory drought. But something very fishy happened after that third round, going into the fourth round. Canelo Alvarez took his foot off the gas and only threw 10 power punches in that fourth round. The only round where he threw less power punches was the first round, okay? Now, in the eighth round, Canelo Alvarez right hook buckled Berlanga. Then Edgar Berlanga did something very foolish. Rather than using his height and reach advantage and keeping the distance from Canelo, he got too close to Canelo in the phone booth with the high guard, making himself very vulnerable for Canelo to go crazy with body shots. But once again, Canelo took his foot off the gas, let him off the hook, and didn't go for the knockout. Now, in the 10th round, Canelo Alvarez let us know how much he knows. He let the world know how much he knows that Edgar Berlanga is a cupcake. In the middle of the fight of the 10th round, he just casually walked away, turned his back on Berlanga. He turned his back on Berlanga and just walked away. It's just a walk in the park, a stroll in the park on a Saturday night. Okay, he knows this guy can't beat him. He's turned his back on him. Berlanga got mad, he hit him on the side of the head, and then Canelo was talking.
At the end of the fight, he said that he punched like his son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so he just turned.
So why are you fighting your son?
And so I was perplexed on why he did that. So now there was only one round where Edgar Berlanga landed more shots than Canelo Alvarez, and the judges there was one judge that gave 3 rounds to Edgar Berlanga. 2 judges gave Berlanga 2 rounds. I gave Berlanga rounds 4 and round 7 as Canelo Alvarez, the tomato can crusher, the cupcake smasher, wins again.
Yeah, watching the fight, I mean, I was just thinking about what Byron was saying the last show. No defense. I mean, just an open target. I mean, just so. I know I picked unanimous decision. I turned out to be right, but I thought I was wrong. I mean, just looking at the fight, I was like, oh, I was definitely wrong about this. He didn't finish him.
No,
he didn't finish him. Now, what are you alluding to? You saying something's going? You think he did that on purpose?
Right. Look. Here's what I'm saying. Like round 3 was amazing because he knocked him down.
Yes.
So going to round 4, I'm like, okay, my prediction's gonna be good. It's gonna knock him out. But he only threw 10 power punches. He threw 27 power punches in the 3rd round. Yeah. He threw 10 in the 4th round. So he let up. He let him off the hook. Why he can't claim that he was tired? Canelo can't say, oh, I was too tired. This is the 4th round. We know you in great shape. We know you could have just went ahead and finished him off. You know. So and then in the 8th round, you can see Berlanga buckle from a right hook. Okay, now go get him. Go ahead and get him. He's right there with a high guard, right up close to you. That's not what you want to do against Canelo. Yeah. He's a great body puncher and a great counter puncher. Absolutely. So you're so close to this man. He could have just started digging in at the body with rib shots and then bring his guard down and come up with an uppercut. But he didn't do it. And then in the 10th round, in the middle of the fight, why are you turning your back on your opponent and just walking away? The final bell hasn't rung for the 10th round bell. It hasn't rang. Right. So why are you turning your back on this man walking away? You should be over there trying to take him out. So I'm just saying, I know Tion and Byron was saying it might be something under the table saying don't knock this guy out. Yeah. Just because if he knocks him out, it's going to be proof that he's a tomato can or a cupcake or something like that. But you can never prove it. The only way you can prove that is if someone speaks out, but that we probably could never prove that conspiracy.
Well, if that is like linked to a contractual, like they'll ruin their life by speaking on it. It'll never come out.
Yeah, that'll never come out. The only thing you can go by is what I'm observing.
Yeah.
I think that's whack as hell if that's the case. If that's on the contract. Look, for me as a viewer and a fan, what you put on tape is what I see. Yeah. That's what I see, and what I've seen is the last 5-6 fight that Byron has clearly told everybody they are tomato cans, and he hasn't finished them.
No,
he hasn't finished them. There's no way you can tell me that the chosen one shouldn't have been finished watching that fight.
And the thing is, for you stands, like There are fan bases that I just despise. You know, Lakers Nation. You
like Cowboy fans?
Cowboy fans are okay for me, but like, I'm a baseball guy.
Bears fans,
Philly fans. Red Sox fans. Like, I don't understand the Canelo stan base where they see these fights and they see these opponents and then they glorify the decisions. A lot of you guys talk a lot of crap about Bud Crawford. And the only thing Bud Crawford has done over his last 10 fights was 9 knockouts and 1 unanimous decision. And you exalt a guy who, since his TKO of Caleb Plant, he's fought to 6 decisions and he lost 1. So, and the level of opponents is what's like scary, and you definitely have to have a conversation about is his skills diminishing, because as you alluded to, you have an output of 26 punches in a fight. I mean, you're selling this fight like you're gonna finish this guy. We're seeing you get in this guy's face. You're seeing that he has no heart, but at the end you're hugging him and you're exalting the fact that and I get that. But the thing is, Bud Crawford, the guy that you guys talk the most shit about, he finishes guys. You can say, oh, he fights tomato cans. He knocks tomato cans out. Tank Davis, he knocks tomato cans out. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Anthony Joshua. You put certain guys in the ring with a tomato can and they do what they're supposed to do. Like, you can't say that the sport isn't about fighting a tomato can or two, because those are the politics. Those are the politics of promotional companies who have to sell you as their product. So they want you to be out there and look good so the boxing public can attach themselves to you. But why do you need to sell yourself if you're Canelo Alvarez? The number one pound for pound king of... Why do you have to settle? Why do we have to watch you fight to a unanimous decision against a guy that we can watch in a couple months get knocked out cold by a journeyman? Because his talent, he doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't move. He has no defense. So, he fights a big puncher. I would love to see this guy against Caleb Plant. I think Caleb Plant will make him look stupid for 12 rounds. And possibly will knock him out.
Right.
Yeah. Because Caleb Plant is going to fight aggressive, and he's not going to let an opportunity go. He's not going to give you... And I literally looked at this guy, looked at this opponent, and I'm like, there's no way he's not knocking this guy out.
And I would like to say this too, like, for people who think we're just hating on Berlanga and hating on Canelo and making it seem like Berlanga's not a tomato can or a cupcake, look, listen to this. You had to bet $180 on Canelo Alvarez to win the fight, to win $10.
Yeah, $10.
He was a plus 1,800 favorite. So we're not the ones just calling him tomato cans. We said that after watching the film and the tape. But the Vegas and the Sharks in Vegas, they're saying he's a tomato can.
They're saying it. And I don't want to see the face of boxing after fighting a fighter at the level of Bivol, fighting 5 consecutive fights that are this caliber.
John Ryder.
It speaks to who he is as a fighter and what he wants to accomplish. I've never seen a fighter want to tarnish his legacy so bad. And he's working very hard. And at the same time, you guys are trying to sell us that a fight with Terrence Crawford isn't feasible at this point. Which I can't believe, because if you don't want to fight Benavidez, I don't understand the call out on Bivol. I would have had so much more respect for him if he said, I want the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev. Because Beterbiev can win that fight.
Right.
So if Beterbiev wins that fight, are you going to fight him?
Yeah, Beterbiev.
Like Beterbiev. Are we going to see you fight him? Are we going to see you go to 175 and fight that monster? Now I'll pay 90 to see that.
Right.
I'll pay 90 to see that.
Yeah.
But he didn't. It seemed like he has a specific opponent for a specific scenario, and if everything doesn't align to where he wants to, then we're going to see him against the Boys and Club champion of Nicaragua, and we're going to see that, and we're going to get a hype up of this and this champion that will build up just for him to have a 12-round exhibition, and we'll be right in the same place for a year. Like, we're not going to see this guy for a year, and then he'll come back with nothing.
Well, he's talked about B-ball just to piss off the Mexican monster, David Benavidez, because David Benavidez is supposed to fight the winner of B-ball, Beterbiev. So Canelo is jabbing at the Mexican monster. It's like, no, I'm gonna fight him. No, I'm gonna take your payday away. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Canelo's on. He's just pretty much jabbing at Benavidez, and he could be bluffing on that claim that he wants a rematch with B-ball.
Well, Canelo after the fight said he's the face of boxing. He's the best in the world.
Well, fight the best then.
Fight the best.
And now y'all bring it up, Adi. Y'all bring it up. I know Brian already start going into it.
Yeah.
But what's really, like, what can we expect from Canelo next? Like, it's been, I mean, whether the fighters are tomato cans or not, I don't want to disrespect any boxers, because those guys get out there, they work hard, they train hard, they get the opportunity. Canelo gave him an opportunity, whatever it was. But now, going forward, now you got all these boxers in his division, the light heavyweight division.
Right.
What can Canelo? First of all, Canelo sells fights regardless.
Yeah, he will.
He's got, like you talk about the fan base. The fan base, they are crazy for Canelo. They'll watch Canelo fight me.
Yeah. They would. Man, you're last 12 rounds.
Right, you're last 12 rounds too. And you going 12 rounds.
But okay, so we really don't know what's next for Canelo, Adi. But what do you think should be next for Canelo?
Well, you know what? Just like Riddick Bowe never fought Lennox Lewis, Canelo Alvarez is never going to fight David Benavidez.
I've given up on that. I gave that to like a year ago. I've already assumed that.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So the man who's attempting to eradicate boxing from this ducking pandemic, Turkey a la Sheik,
Ducking pandemic.
he said that Canelo Alvarez is just wasting his time, making excuses, and demanding an enormous amount of money to fight Terrence Crawford, okay? And There's two reasons why I find avoiding a Terrence Crawford fight very perplexing, okay? Number two, this could be the biggest payday in Canelo Alvarez's career. The biggest purse. He could, Triple G LP purse, you know what I'm saying? But going against, my man Bud Crawford is ranked higher than Canelo in the pound-for-pound boxing rankings, okay?
Yes.
And just selling that fight, the Canelo versus, Canelo claimed he the best in boxing, Canelo, Bud Crawford, it'd be so easy to sell that fight. That'll be a mega fight, okay? So the money would be there, if that's what he wants.
What weight would they fight at, though?
Well, I'm about to get to that.
Yeah.
I'm about to get to that right now. I'm about to get to that right now. You read my mind.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So now that's the number one reason why I'm perplexed on why he won't fight Bud, because even at 160 pounds, at middleweight, that's why they should fight at 160 pounds. Okay?
Yeah.
So even if they fought at 160 pounds, Canelo Alvarez would still defeat Terrence Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got a top two reasons why Canelo would defeat Terrence Crawford. The number two reason is because Terrence Crawford is not going to hurt Canelo Alvarez. Triple G couldn't knock him down. You're not getting a 10-8 round on Canelo Alvarez. You're not getting a 10-8. Triple G couldn't knock him down. B-Ball couldn't knock him down. I don't even think David Benavidez would knock Canelo down. I don't think he would knock him down. He probably beat him, but I don't think you would say, "Oh wow, Benavidez just knocked Canelo down on the canvas." I don't think that would happen.
He got
what I'm saying?
Chin.
He got one of the best chins I ever seen.
No, he definitely.
Okay, and so now the number one reason is that history shows us. It shows us that the judges love Canelo Alvarez way more than they do Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
All right, now check this out. Now, when Canelo Alvarez got demolished by Dimitri Bivol, all three judges said Canelo Alvarez won 5 rounds.
Yeah, they was tweaking.
Okay, Canelo won 2, maybe 3 rounds in that fight.
No, that was a domination right there by.
The judges had his back. And then when Canelo Alvarez fought Triple G for the first time, that was a very close fight, great fight, classic. A lot of people think Triple G won that fight. One judge had Triple G only winning 2 rounds in that fight. Just 2 rounds.
That's correct.
And that fight ended up being a draw, okay?
Yeah.
And when Canelo Alvarez, when he fought Floyd Mayweather, one judge had it 114-114. One judge had that fight a draw. Okay, so I'm telling you, judges love this man.
Yeah,
And meanwhile, 2 out of the 3 judges who scored the Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov fight, 2 out of the 3 judges said Madrimov won 5 rounds.
5 rounds, and that was
Okay, I don't see how Bud Crawford could beat Canelo Alvarez. You're not knocking him out. You're not knocking him down. You're not winning by decision. So why not fight Bud Crawford? I don't get it. You're going to win, and you're going to get paid a lot of money.
Let me cook.
All right, Brian, go cook. Tell him why he don't want to fight Crawford.
Let me have to disagree with every single thing that I just said.
Yeah.
Because number one, that is a fight. That's a winnable fight. So as disinterested as I was in this, exhibition match, I did pay attention to one scene because I believe Caleb Plant fought one of the most entertaining fights of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But it came when Terrence Crawford was in the back with one Caleb Plant, kind of back there shadow boxing and messing around. And when I saw Caleb Plant standing side by side with Terrence Crawford, I said, wow. Crawford looks like he walks around at 170, 175. He looked big, he looked strong, and we have to bring this up. Crawford is 5'8", with a 74-inch reach. Canelo is 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. I will tell you this. With the way that Canelo has been fighting these opponents, this is why Bud Crawford is on his ass to get a fight. Because 1, he will probably be the most athletic fighter that he's fought in years. 2, his boxing IQ is right up there with his. And I believe that with that advantage to where he can put his jab on you, like Terrence Crawford manipulates that ring, cuts it off, it would be a chess match. But the equalizer would be Terrence Crawford's jab. And the fact that Canelo Alvarez's output diminishes the longer the fight goes on. And Crawford, while he might not be able to hurt you, it will be an accumulation of punches. where he would be able to hit you. Where it's like Canelo doesn't. He has one level of shot, and that's his. He doesn't have touch and pop. He's just coming at you all bull. But you're a little guy, and I think that everyone's looking at this like, oh, Crawford's 154. But if you watch that fight, and I'll definitely encourage you to look at Caleb Plant, and when they were side by side, if Crawford's a bigger fighter. On paper, he's big. Yeah. On paper, he's the bigger fighter.
Okay.
He wears that weight. You saying that Crawford can't go 12, and I get the judges, but I think Crawford can beat him that bad. Because this table has disrespected Crawford in a big fight before, where they didn't feel he would show up. And I really feel like Terrence Crawford takes that and says, oh, you think I can't beat that man? You think that man's so much stronger than me? Put me in the ring with him. And I don't think he's walking this guy down just trying to get a fight and get a payday and get out of here. I really think that he feels he can beat him, because I also have to bring up the fact that over the weekend, Terrence Crawford said he wants this fight at 168. He does not want the fight at 160. He wants the fight at 168 because he wants to take the titles that Canelo has in the 168-pound division. Does that scare me? Absolutely. But this is what creates greatness. This is what a great fighter should do. A great fighter should put something in front of him that's not something that you can look on paper and say, hey, you know what, you're not going to win this, so maybe you shouldn't do this. It's a challenge. And Crawford is stepping up to this challenge. He wants to fight this clown, and this clown, which that's what he is. He's a clown. He claims that he fights for the money. So now you have the most money in your career staring you in the face. And I think the question that we should be asking, the stands, everybody should be asking, if Crawford is so easy to beat, why not beat him?
Listen, Brian bring up a good point. Now, I will say this. Brian brought up some good statistics with the, I think Crawford could actually outbox. He might be able to outbox Canelo.
We're talking about if he could take his power.
Yeah, that's the thing. If
Canelo's power can't knock out Munguia with no defense, can't knock out Berlanga with no defense.
But he knocked them down. That's a 10-8 round.
Okay, he's knocking them down. So out of those two fighters, as far as a slick fighter, where do you rank Terrence Crawford?
No, Crawford's more slicker than those guys for sure.
Okay, so again, we didn't see Canelo set up any shots, because if he did, the opportunity to knock these guys out would have been prevalent, correct?
Well, I cannot really judge Canelo too much on these fights, because I feel like he's holding back, man.
Understood.
Because I saw that fourth round where why would you throw 27 power punches in round 3 and then 10 in round 4?
Is it possible?
I just think he held back.
Is it possible throwing those 27 punches, he had to take a little break? Was he a little tired? Remember, this guy's fought 66 fights. It was 1 year, I want to say, he fought 3 championship fights in 1 year. Like, this guy's, like, he has fought a lot of tomato cans, or you could say they're weak, but he's fought a lot of fights.
I think if Terrence Crawford Camp believes what you're saying, I think that's a trap. I think it's a sandbag. Okay. I think if he goes in because you know how Crawford used to get off to slow starts with a lot of his fights.
Yeah.
I think if
he did against Earl Spence.
You're right, he didn't.
Nah.
But if Canelo goes against Terrence Crawford, he needs to get him out of there. He needs to go at him and get him out of there. Don't play around. You know how he knocked my man down in the 3rd round, Berlanga, and he knocked down Munguia in the 4th round, and then he let off and like, okay, I'm gonna play patty cake with you for the rest of the fight.
You can't do that with
Don't do that with Terrence Crawford. Just get him out of there.
And I think everybody wants to say, oh, you know, Crawford is Canelo isn't scared. Okay, well, however you want to interpret it. My thing is, with the way that you've been fighting, you don't want to see a fighter like Terrence Crawford. You don't want to see a fighter that gets stronger, whose output is going to increase. Because if Terrence Crawford would definitely pull a tank, he'll let you gas yourself out in 5 rounds. If he feel like he's strong enough to come get you from that 6th to the 12th. Yeah. And he can do that. And I've watched him do that. And all I'm saying is, if you got a 74-inch reach, you can pretty much determine, it depends on how good your jab is. Yeah. And Bud Crawford got one of the best jabs in boxing. And can give it to you with both hands. I do not understand how you don't feel like that fight would be competitive. It would be
I'm not
if Caleb Plant can can fight a semi-competitive fight with you,
Yeah.
I think Terrence Crawford can absolutely.
I'm not saying it won't be competitive. I'm just saying that Terrence Crawford ain't knocking him down, and I'm saying that the judges love Canelo. So that's all I'm saying.
He's saying like even if Crawford wins the fight, outboxing, he can possibly still.
He can still win because they said B-Ball won 5 rounds. So.
Ali is the same person that said that Terrence Crawford wouldn't knock down Earl Spence, and we all.
No, actually, what I said was, I said if in order for Terrence Crawford to beat Earl Spence, he needs to knock him down at least once.
And I don't think he's gonna do that. I think that's what you said. I was sitting right now.
Yeah. I think I understand. But I said yeah. But
and what happened?
he knocked it. But Earl Spence don't get no chin like Canelo.
I thought.
The point of the matter is, this is the beauty of it. Why can't we see this instead of this score? So like why can't this fight happen? Because he's gonna have to search high and low to find another one of these diced tomato cans. Don't want to knock it down. Like, it's more work for him to find this opponent when you have a payday in front of you, like to this. Like I don't, and this is why I call him a coward. This is why I'll never give him the credit that you guys will. It's because, like, come on, man, you got a chance for the pound for pound in the sport. 2 divisions under you. Make the fight, and you're gonna get paid. Yeah, if you feel that you're so
And you're gonna win.
Right? No, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win.
Guaranteed.
He's not gonna win. And while Adi will give a guarantee, so how would you guarantee that fight to end? A decision?
Decision, for sure. They gonna.
All right, so let's talk realistic real quick before we, let's talk realistically. So let's just take Terrence Bud Crawford off because I don't think that fight is gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. But Canelo did call out for the rematch with Bivol. Is there any possibility? So what if that does happen? Would that spark your interest? So
no, I think the winner of that fight is fighting David Benavidez. I do.
Yeah, I think the winner of that, it's been set up for David Benavidez to fight the winner of that fight. I just think that Canelo is just pretty much throwing a jab at Benavidez, and then like Bivol beat him so bad, like I don't.
And Bivol wants to fight him at 168. Bivol wants to take his titles at 168, and Canelo is adamant to come back to 175. And to be honest, I think he's not interested. I think he'll be more interested in the David Benavidez fight. Probably it'll be more lucrative for him to fight David Benavidez, and people will want to see that fight.
Yeah. And I got 3 other fighters.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so
we got?
Okay, you got a 28-0 Christian Mbili. He's from Cameroon, just like Francis Ngannou. He took over David Benavidez's spot. He took his spot, and as a #1 contender to WBC, because Benavidez went up in weight, and so then they made Christian Mbili the #1 challenger at the WBC. Now, he's very active. In his last fight versus Derevin Checo, he threw 69 punches per round, and he threw 44 power punches per round. This dude is on your ass, okay? So that's one guy. Another guy, you got the 22-0, 6'4", Diego Pacheco, all right? Now, he's 2 inches taller than David Benavidez. His reach, he has a 5-inch reach advantage over David Benavidez. All right, this guy's a giant.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's 23 years old, and versus Selecki, in the 6th round, he gave that man a left hook to the body, knocked him out in the 6th round. He's the #1 WBO contender, all right? And then, so I would like to see if he, don't fight Bud or Benavidez, fight one of those 2 guys. Now, the 3rd guy who I don't want to see, who he probably will fight, is Chris Eubank Jr., all right? He has not fought at 168 in over 5 years. He's a middleweight right now. And on October the 12th, he fights a Polish boxer, Kamil Sharameta. Okay, he has to beat him on October 12th. I believe he's on the undercard of Bivol versus Beterbiev. So Chris Eubank Jr., who's a middleweight, Canelo can force him to go up to super middleweight and go 12 rounds with him and knock him down in like the 5th round.
Okay, well, so we'll see what happens with Canelo Alvarez, but once again, he is victorious. Another unanimous decision. Listen, we just talked about the Canelo fight. We talked about who he fought, and we went on a big rave about like who Canelo's gonna fight next. But let's talk about the opponent that Canelo fought, the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. No defense. Flat-footed, just completely outclassed in the fight. I don't know. People argue, like, y'all know way more about boxing than I do. A lot of y'all do, but it just looked like he didn't belong in the ring in the championship type of fight.
Not with Canelo.
Yeah, not with Canelo. So Byron, what's next for the chosen one?
I mean, I only want to see him in 2 fights. Either Caleb Plant has been on a tear lately, and I'm rather enjoying the way that he's been beating up on people. So I think this will be a fight that Caleb Plant could win very easy, or against Munguia. I think that'll be another opponent that I wouldn't mind seeing him in. But again, I don't think these guys are, the champions that they are made out to be by the promotional companies that they work for. I think these guys, acquire belts by beating journeymen or however they acquire them. And, they're just being cherry picked to fight the likes of Canelo Alvarez. But, again, I think Caleb Plant's career is a lot more relevant than both of the guys that I just mentioned. And so I would like to see him fight a Caleb Plant. I kind of like the idea of Caleb Plant beating up on these guys that, Canelo's going 12-round decisions, because I really think that Caleb Plant might stop Berlanga. So imagine how that'll look, if Caleb Plant stops Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez couldn't.
I like it. What about you? What's next for the chosen one?
Yeah, Caleb Plant and Edgar Berlanga, they got into a heated exchange in the pre-fight press conference, all right? As Berlanga continues to fire insults at Caleb Sweet Hands Plant as he was preparing for 28-0 Trevor Tenacious McCumbee, all right? And McCumbee threw a lunging left hook at Caleb Plant in the 4th round. Caleb Plant was knocked down. He did hit the canvas, but it was a weird knockdown.
It was very weird.
Because McCumbee, Caleb Plant blocked the punch. And, he blocked it on that.
It was a hard shot he threw.
It was a hard shot. It was blocked, but he threw him off balance and he fell.
Yeah.
So, but I think that woke him up from his 18-month fight drought, okay? And so after that, in the 9th round, Caleb Plant pinned McCumbee on the ropes, started delivering lots of hooks and
uppercuts.
Uppercuts, hooks. The refs jumped in. After the bell rang, he jumped in and stopped the fight, which was weird, but he was going to get knocked out in the 10th round anyway, okay? So Caleb Plant got that nice little TKO win. Now, I want to see him fight Caleb Plant, all right? You're going to talk all this stuff about this man, make it seem like he's nothing, go fight him, go beat him, all right? Now, if not Caleb Plant, I agree with Byron, fight Jaime Munguia. Now, I believe Munguia was much more of a challenge versus Canelo than Berlanga. Yeah. Jaime Munguia landed 51 more shots, 51 more punches on Canelo than Berlanga did, and Jaime Munguia was hit 33 less times versus Canelo Alvarez, all right? Now, Munguia's next fight is Friday versus undefeated Eric Bazinian, all right? And Berlanga and Munguia is the same age. Both of them are 27 years old. And since Berlanga wants to say that he's a superstar, please don't go fight a cupcake with your next fight, okay? Please. Fight in league.
I mean, Caleb Plant will be a very lucrative fight for him. Yeah. I think they already kind of sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think first thing he need to do before he fight anybody is go back and get you a trainer that can study, get him working on some defense.
Footwork,
movement, all that. I think that's very important. Canelo Alvarez, if he really did truly take it easy on him, like you said, Caleb Plant and whoever else he fights,
they won't.
They will not take it easy. If they see opening, you brought up, if they come in like that, and it's somebody else, they're going for the kill. So I think he really needs to go and perfect his craft a little bit more.
And then another thing, they keep talking about how he got a knockout in his first 16 fights. This man hasn't won by knockout in 6 out of his last 7 fights. So as soon as his competition bumped up a little bit, he stopped knocking people out.
Yep. So
tomato can is a tomato can.
We'll see what's happening for the chosen one, but we'll see. He did get the shot with Canelo. Probably got his biggest payday.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I ain't mad at him. He took advantage of his opportunity. Lasted 12 rounds. It is what it is. You've been watching Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Ali Wally. Thank you for Byron for coming in and giving us his expertise.
And thank you to the tomato can.
Yeah. Make sure y'all go on Spectator on YouTube. Subscribe to that page. You can also go on Spotify and also subscribe to the page. We'll be on there. We love the comments. Keep coming at Byron. He loves it. He's a Canelo hater, so go ahead and let him hear it.
I really.
But in the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.